Hello and welcome to another happiness class. Salim's still making me laugh, and this is a weekly thing. I got 40 seconds to say this stuff. Bigquestionsanswer.com. That's the website where you get lots of stuff. All the previous shows. What we're talking about today, what it means to be a Muslim. So, what is Islam? One important thing about the Muslim community. I don't know why you should join. Second half is about question answer about life. Ask anything you want. My farmer friend Salim in his farm is here. He's got opinions. We'll see what he's got to say. Everything I've got to say is about truths from ancient religion, science, and logic. So hopefully you don't have to just believe me. Hopefully it makes sense. Do please like this video, this live stream, to promote it. Let me copy paste the first thing. Actually, so, first thing, Islam. What do you think? What's so great about Islam? I'm going to give Salim have a go at answering that. What do you think?
Hello, YouTube community. What's up? Subscribe and like, you youngin. That's how I see these people, how they talk on YouTube. So I'll try and be speedy. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for that, Khalid. Thanks for having me on the show. Welcome to all the viewers. Forgive me, but I think there's quite the few reasons I'm thinking about why I should become a Muslim. Is it because of family reasons, culturally, spiritually, physically, mentally? Does it give you peace of mind? Does it give you a sense of community? Does it give you the guidance? Does it help you talk to God? Does God get to talk to
So,
you?
if you weren't filtering, which you're not filtering anyway, like, what is the thing that gets you excited about it? I mean, this is like a starting off thing. Like, what
All right, for
was
me, I mean, I know. So I'm far out there, but for me, it's about the engagement with God. It's the engagement. It's the communications. It's the two-way.
That's it. Cool. I love that. I mean, what else could be more important than that in terms of like everything else is kind of temporary and relatively meaningless. So that's probably the number one. If that wasn't it, then there wouldn't be much point of Islam. So anyway, I love that. Thank you, Salim, for that thought there. Let me say my little intro about this topic. Here's a verse of the Holy Quran. As I say, this is not just my opinions. I'm trying to use ancient teachings, especially from Islam. This day have I perfected your religion, as it says down there, for you, and completed my favor upon you, and have chosen for you Islam, which means peace, all kinds of peace, inner peace, peace in society, no wars, all that kind of stuff, as religion, which I put as guidance, and that's from the Holy Quran, chapter 5, verse 4. Do check out the description for all sorts of references and links and all that kind of stuff. You can just click them and all that. Anyway, so my little commentary is God, our designer, is doing us a big favor by giving us a detailed instruction manual for humans, right? The advice, take the advice and you'll be in harmony with your design. So there's a very definite design to us human beings. Probably a good idea to listen to it, to the one who made us. So anyway, it takes a long time to learn life lessons. That's my little comment at the end. It takes a long time to learn. Let's try again. It takes a long time to learn life lessons. There's a lot of L's there. That's probably what it is. By which time it's often too late. Religion, especially Islam, has been proven to have the best life advice, a great favor from God. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you call it Islam, yeah. I would say Christianity 2.0 or Judaism 3.0 or, Buddhism 4.0 equals Islam. It's all backward compatible. Um, I think, yeah, I don't really have too much more to say apart from that. I forgot the
Okay,
question,
I'm
actually.
gonna translate what you just said because that was kind of like if it was a computer program, which it kind of is. So basically, Islam's a strange religion, is because it's the one that says it accepts all other religions. So most other religions say only come to us. That's the only way to heaven, right? Islam says all doors lead to heaven if you keep going towards God. The truth leads to God. I mean, yeah, and leads to paradise in this life and the next. So, but the reason why Islam is kind of Buddhism 4.0 is because it's gone through an evolution. So the original teachings of, say Buddhism, for example, Buddhism was just for the followers of direct followers of Buddha, like his close friends. It was a tribal religion. Um, Same with sort of, you could kind of say Judaism. It was kind of, it was a tribal religion, just a Jewish group. Even Jesus said that in the Bible. It's only for a certain group of people. But Islam, first religion, when we were ready for it, we we're ready for international stuff. It's like for everybody, all times. This is the way, and the most detailed advice as well. What do you think? Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I believe in the all the messengers, whether they were Adam or the shamans or the messengers that were sent to the Aboriginals. You know, as I say, everyone can connect with the Creator. He's not dead; he's alive. He wants us to chat with him, so we should, and we do. But a lot of people are missing that. They think it's theoretical. Oh, is there? Isn't there? Right, let's just crack on with our lives. But actually, if he tells you the future and through dreams and other things, then you've got to go with that. And like you might say, nah, that's bogus. But after a few times it happens, and a few times of that comms, and a few times your prayers get answered, you start thinking actually, perhaps it wasn't coincidence that
Hmm.
everything's getting sorted. So yeah, there's so many ways to bring you to him. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Cool. I think these are all really important points. So, how do we know God is listening? Well, first of all, try, but also Islam gives you a formula for it, which is listen to God as well, because God's not your pet or something or your slave. It's not like, oh, can you do this magic trick? Drop something from the sky, rain some money, please. I need it. And then once the money comes, then you just kind of go, oh, that's enough. See you, God. Forget you. I don't believe in you anymore. Kind of like after 5 minutes. Um, so God says, like, I will listen to you, promise, but you got to listen to me. And so there's a verse of the Holy Quran that says, say to this my servants, I will listen to your prayers so that you can come close to me, and then I can guide you as well, which is practical. It makes sense. So, any more wisdom that I can feed off?
So I'm thinking that basically God says, recognize me, know that I'm there. And that is the creed of Islam. You just say, there's only one God. So what you're saying is, I believe in one God. I recognize that God's there. God wants us to recognize him and get in touch and then follow his guidance. And if we don't, then like you say, we trip up and, you know, our life becomes full of despair and not great things. Uh, and then, you know, you can handle you can handle more you can handle more tough life because you know that in the end it's okay. It's no big deal. We're only here for like a split second of a moment of through eternity, and so get over yourselves. It's not it's,
Less
you know
pressure in
yeah,
a
the
way.
pressure's off. You can chill,
You
relax.
got another one after this, another life after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And also there's no pressure because you're not trying to figure it all out, like from A to Z. Like, here's a book, this is what you got to do, and it works. Like, you've seen to work. All the psychologists, so we've done like 32 shows before this. This is episode 33 for Happiness Course. And I've demonstrated through science and psychology and everything that all these teachings of Islam are like, they just work and they make your life better and they make it really easy. So why would you not follow it? And then all sorts of, I even started with proving God must exist, even like before you attempt it. So it makes a sense. It makes sense to know that God probably should exist before you try attempted to talking to God. So I've done sort of the A to Z of this is why Islam makes sense, and that's why we're talking about it now in episode 33 to kind of round off and say, hey, look, think about it now. Like, does Islam make sense to you after all these episodes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, it's been poo-pooed. Islam's been you know, like, don't go there. Dun-dun-dun-dun. It's like, it's not good for you. They got hook fingers, and they slave their women, and they blow up buildings, and all this kind of thing. But since 2011, there's been a lot of misrepresentation about Islam. But in the end, humans nil, God wins. There's no way, no matter how much negative information you get, if God puts it in their heart to be excellent to one another, then that's got to be the way forward. Really, you can't really lose.
You mean people be attracted to Islam, however much negative media we get? Is that kind of what you're saying, or
Well,
something
no,
else?
what I'm saying is that when Jesus was, again, it was like Jesus versus the Roman Empire. That's like me being versus the States at the moment. It's like there's no way, there's not really much chance of winning. But look at it now. He beat the Roman Empire, lost in the long term. I don't know how many. There's like 1 billion Christians on the planet. There's 1.9 billion Muslims. So in the long term, no matter what media or no matter what you throw against them, these believers, they're going to end up winning. So you might as well be on the winning team.
That's it. That is really so true. Okay, and that kind of, okay, I don't know if that feeds into next, but it does for me. Community, that's the next thing about the Muslim community. What one thing do I need to know about the global Muslim community? Any thoughts?
So like if I'm in Egypt, Malaysia, or even Florida, and I see somebody with a kind of who looks like a Muslim, I say salam, and next thing, there's that bond that ties you together. I think we were in Decathlon in Portsmouth last week. Saw a guy with the beard as a security guard in the doorway. I said, "Oh, salam, how are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm from Sudan." And next thing, we were talking as if we'd known each other for a long time. So it does, it's that sense of community. It's like if you're boating on the river, when you see other river people, you wave to them because you've got a sense of something in common.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would
And
say.
I think that's really important. We feel so disconnected. It's a massive modern problem in the West, especially, that people are so disconnected. So that kind of,
Yeah, you've got
I think it's a
instant
sharing of
community.
principles, I think, deep down. But yeah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, it's like instant community.
Yeah.
Insta community. I mean, people
Yeah.
despair that, oh, I've got no community. But yeah, so you got instant community.
And it's so easy because when you say I'm a Muslim, it means a whole bunch of things. First of all, I'm not going to be rude to you, sort of thing. Actually, if you're a Muslim, you're not rude to anybody. That's kind of one of the rules. Like when you say hello, instead of saying hello, and it's not just Muslims, it's Jews and Christians. They're supposed to say this, peace be upon you, and then they're like instantly friends, and therefore that kind of makes it safe to be friends and stuff like that. And there's so many principles that we kind of agree on. Anyway, so here's my one thing. So first of all, quote from the Holy Quran: "And whoever obeys God and His Messenger shall be among those who God blesses." This is my kind of simplified translation. Blesses as prophets and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? And so my little commentary is, through Islam, we have a living connection with God, which includes guidance through leadership of prophets and their successors called the Khalifas. That's kind of or Caliph, in if you might have heard of that phrase, who unite us, right? And so, kind of a bit more into that would be community is a key benefit of Islam, which comes through unity, without which humanity is miserable. Unity through Khilafat, that's this spiritual leadership in Islam, and it's kind of a singular, like everybody follows this Khalifa, can only be found in the international Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Should have wrote Muslim after Ahmadiyya, which began with the promised prophet Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, promised by all major religions. So, yeah. Anyway, what do you think?
So, like, when you see the general and the battalion, and they're all standing in a line, and they're all marching to the same tune, and when the commander says, "Right, attention," there's a immediately the whole brigade or platoon, they all obey immediately. So when you see I don't know, when these Muslims, when they all pray and they bow and they stand up and they go down and prostrate, so they all do it in a line, and it doesn't matter how old or they know each other or don't. They're always standing in a line. It's the same thing, that it's all for one and one for all. And if the battalion leader says, right, be kind and be generous and be merciful and be the best you can be and be righteous and look after the orphans and da 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 da, they all do it together. So that unity, like, you can go anywhere in the world during the month of fasting. Like, if I'm in a shop in Iran and it's time for breaking the fast, and I walk in, I say, "Oh, I'm desperate for some grapes or dates or something," they'd be like, "Forget that. Sit down with us. We're going to break fast together." And they have a proper major meal. And I don't know who these people are. They don't know me. Or there's a bill collector at my door, and I'll say, and he'll like, "Oh, I haven't paid your TV license, blah, blah, blah." And I'll say, "Come in and I'll pay it now. But let me just open my fast." And he'll be like, "Oh, I'm a Muslim as well." And that immediately, that, not that animosity, but that you're both like, okay, let's stop the bill payment procedure for a moment while we break our fast and be brothers. And as soon as that's over, we'll get back to, like, "You haven't paid your bills, get bill pay." So yeah, that is that unity, that sense of community.
Yeah, and I like to think that when I talk to Londoners, I don't think they're actually mean at heart, even though they don't make eye contact, whatever. They actually really want to talk. They really want to smile at each other, but there's no rule. It's kind of like your default how to behave. And this is all about changing the defaults. It's like the default is do smile at each other. And suddenly everybody's going to be so much happier. And people have noticed this. If you go traveling or you listen to travel videos, the best places people go to, they always talk about the people. What's the best thing about a country? The people. And the only good thing about the people is when they're friendly, right? And literally, people say stuff like, "Oh, I feel energized when I'm here." Why? Because people just smile at me. It's that kind of stuff that matters.
Yeah. So in Holland, I used to live in Holland, and the children, whoever says hello first, is the kind of a winner. It's like a game. And so children, as you go past, they'll be saying hi, hello, hi. Grown ups say it on the trains. I think it's a British thing to be reserved and not so speak so much. But like you say, as soon as you break the ice, as soon as you say, "Did you see that thing out the window?" And then next thing, you're chatting. There's no tomorrow.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not sure if that's always. It's hard to get that going on a full packed train or something because it's not easy to flip so much. But on a 1-to-1, if nobody else is there, maybe. But you can't really just smile at somebody on a train. They'll be a bit scared, wouldn't they? A lot of the
Yeah,
time.
that sounds like a good challenge. Like, see how many people you can get start chatting out of
Yeah,
every town on the train,
yeah,
especially on the tube, especially on a packed train.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I might try. I might especially go on a journey just to test that theory, Khalid.
Good luck. Hope you survive. But anyway, but I mean, if you go back to the teachings of Islam, Islam literally says it's charity to smile at people. And that I remember telling somebody that, and they were like, what does that mean? How can I? So I'll explain it a little bit. It's like when you smile at somebody, you're actually transmitting a smile to people, and that's actually to do with psychology. So if I smile, I don't know if it's having an effect. Is it having an effect? See, there you go. The point is, you can't stop now. Okay, psychologists tell us that people like to imitate. They automatically imitate. It's like built in. And when you smile, you actually feel good. It shoots off the dopamine or whatever it is, serotonin. I can't remember which one it is. Probably dopamine, right? And then you feel good. So giving, you're literally sending good vibes. So if that's the standard behavior, you're expected to do that, then it's not scary going on a train and smiling at strangers because they go, oh, we're supposed to smile. Oh, thanks for reminding me. And then people have a good trip to work or something, relatively. Yeah.
It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing because if you, whatever expression you have on your face, that is how you feel inside.
Yeah.
And if you are smiling, you become approachable, and people like to hang out with people who are cheerful. Actually, I say that because just before this conversation, I told you I've got no friends. But I presume, in theory, that if you smile a lot, you become approachable and you'll have friends, I guess.
It kind of does work. I think Salim's quite hard on himself, but yeah, but we both feel we don't have any friends, isn't it? Like, we're not normally that sociable.
Really, no mates.
Yeah. Anyway, next question for you. Joining, why should I become a Muslim? Any thoughts?
Well, you'd be going against all, the media and stuff. If you were to, you'd probably have to leave your family. You'd have to give up a lot. You'd have to sacrifice. You'd have to then maybe be persecuted on trains, and you'd have a hard time, I guess, in theory. But actually, you'd be mentally serenity would get to you. Why should you become a Muslim? Well, I think that you can be a Muslim and still be a Christian, or you can be a Muslim and a humanist. All a Muslim means is that you recognize that God is there and you try your best to do what he says. So if a Muslim is it's just an Arabic word for the person that says, all right, I'll do, I'll follow your guidance. So if a Christian is being righteous, or a Jew or a Sikh or a Buddhist, if they're being righteous, they're actually Muslims, but they don't recognize that they're Muslims. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And I like your angle there, because I'm going to say something not too different, because this is not like a pitch. Like, you better become Muslim, you're going to get rewarded for this, that, and the other. Because the people that do themselves a favor and are the ones who actually try to help other people. It sounds really weird, but it's always kind of the selfish ones are usually often miserable, and the people who give are the ones who are happy. So let me just kind of say what I was going to say from here. Behave beneficently towards the neighbor that is family. Message on your phone, yeah. Behave beneficently towards the neighbor that is family, and the neighbor that is a stranger, and the companion by your side. So, quick commentary. Oh, I think there's supposed to be some sort of space in between there. I can't remember where. Let me quickly check something. Where's the space supposed to be? Oh, there's no space. Oh, I forgot to make a comment after. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, Islam is about building a good environment. We do that by being part of the solution. A neighbor is everyone we meet. So in Islam is a very general kind of definition. Becoming a good Muslim should not be about how you can make no, sorry, not about you, but how you can make the world better. people who just want to help themselves can't help themselves. So, as I was saying, if you're selfish, you end up not really solving any of your problems. Only the generous find happiness. Being part of the Muslim community means becoming a unified force for good. So, do you understand any of that? I mean, I could
Yeah,
you
basically it means be of benefit, do favors for people, be beneficent, be kind, contribute to, be charitable, do something for someone else instead of doing it for yourself. Do it for your neighbor, for the people on the train, for the people at the office, for your family, for your parents. That's pretty much it. And then it's less about, oh, woe is me, I'm feeling this, I'm, and you become more tolerant, you become more caring. I think that's what it means.
Hmm. Yeah. And there's this funny thing. You made me think of this, right? There's this funny experiment. I don't know if you've ever seen it, right? There's people playing basketball on a stage or something, and then a monkey walks through it, and most people can't even notice the monkey because they're told to watch the basketball players bounce the basketball, right? Have you ever seen that experiment? It's really weird. It
No.
sounds like impossible. That there's a monkey walking through, this costume, not a real monkey, right? And he just walks through the stage right in front of you, like he's 100% in focus, right across your camera, as it were, your view, and people don't see it, right? And the point of mentioning that is our ability to focus on multiple things is really narrow. We can't focus on lots of things. So if we focus on doing good stuff for other people, we stop worrying about our problems. It's just how it works. That's one of the many benefits of um, becoming a Muslim. You're just kind of other orientated, and then psychologists again tell us that we are happier when we do things for other people, which shouldn't be surprising because what we need is very little. We don't need much we don't have to stuff our faces. Right? Actually, we get sick when we stuff our faces with too much stuff, right? We just stuff our face so much because we're so unhappy. And then this is my point about when you focus on yourself, you never really solve your own problems because like if you're well, let's say call a materialist, you kind of go, I'm really unhappy, what am I going to do? Buy another thing, and then I buy another thing, and it doesn't ever work. But people who focus on themselves don't seem to get the big picture because they're so involved in their own problems. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, firstly, and most importantly, I thought you were going to say, have you heard the story? And then I thought you were going to say there was an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Pakistani, but you didn't say that. So,
No, I didn't.
no.
No,
So,
it was a
in
monkey
terms
story.
of Monkey Story, I'll have to check it out. Uh, well, yeah. I mean, you've heard this word shopping therapy, or people are collectors nowadays. I'm collectors of clothes with brands on it, luxury brands, luxury cars, luxury property. Um, but there was a study, a JP Morgan study of wealthy people, and they said, what's most important to you? And they talked about experiences. Life experiences are much more important than the wealth that we have. Um, and these experiences come from meeting interesting people, doing interesting things, but yeah, helping people, as opposed to collecting things. So I'm trying to disagree with you, but I'm finding it a bit tricky.
Yeah, and in terms of people often say nowadays, but as we're becoming we've done the materialism experiment and found out we're becoming like the most depressed society ever. So we're kind of going, oh, what should we do instead of just buying stuff? And then people are going, let's buy experiences, which is kind of one level up, right? But then Islam helps again by telling you, you know what, the experiences you want to try are the sort of meaningful ones. Don't just go on experience to, I don't know, see some fireworks. Okay, fireworks is all right, but maybe if you went to Africa and taught, I don't know, set up some school there or something, or did a little bit of that project, you would just have so much fun doing it, and you'll meet so many cool people. And we were just talking about it a minute ago because we're always, talking about cool stuff, right? And I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so life's an adventure. I mean, we're meant to make mistakes. We're meant to, well, we're not meant to make mistakes, but we learn from our own experiences. But we shouldn't beat ourselves up about that stuff. We're we're products of our environment. We're living in a capitalist society, materialistic. It's all about, oh, let's see how much money. Let's start earning 60 grand, 600 grand. It's not. So we're a product of all of that. Um, and then we have to make our mistakes. We shouldn't beat ourselves up about all these things. We shouldn't be overburdening ourselves. God's very forgiving, and He's very kind. I mean, like, look at me. I mean, I'm still, So yeah, that's what I think.
Cool. Okay. Next question. Can spreading truths practically solve real problems like war and saving the environment?
And spreading truths. Okay.
Is it just hot air, or is it useful for anything? All this talking that we're doing.
I mean, it's very important, isn't it? Communicating, um, communicating values like forgiveness, tolerance, being beneficent. I mean, these are all moral values, right? It doesn't matter which religion or faith you're coming from. And some people have no faith. They would have the same. They would say, well, we believe in that truth. And also truths change over time. That's what I'd think. So, for example,
Okay.
56 years ago, it was all right for kids to work down a mine. Not 56 years ago,
Um,
100 and so years ago, it was all right for kids. The paradigm changed, and now you wouldn't dream of sending your kids down a mine for working. Now now you have to be at least 12.
Oh, that was a joke.
No, it's not a joke. Because my son's 13, and I was looking for work for him, and I looked up the legal, just legislation. You have to be 12 to, and not affect your schoolwork. But then, yeah.
Oh, working down a mine is still allowed. Okay, cool. Okay, good research. Okay, it's taking more space than I expected. Anyway, all right. So, here's a verse of the Holy Quran. Oh, I forgot to give the reference. I can't remember. Near the end, I'll update. I'll put it on the. It's in the description somewhere. It will be soon. Anyway, you will be lost. This is my very short, simplified translation. You'll be lost, brackets depressed, unless you believe in the truth, and then do good actions based on the truth, and then spread the truth, and then do it all patiently. And I'm translating from the Arabic, so the word patiently actually means to be really calm. Anyway, so commentary: we must know truths to help ourselves. So we were talking about all sorts of truths, like smiling at people is really good, and being kind to other people makes us happy. Those are all kinds of truths, right? So we must know truth to help ourselves. Then knowing truths is useless if you don't act on them. And so these truths are, they're practical things you should do, like being nice to people, be neighborly, and all that kind of stuff. And then can hear myself a little bit. Okay, it's okay. And then the best good action is to teach others the truth, because that enables people to do lots of good stuff. If you help people directly, that's great, okay, but if you want people to help themselves, you got to teach them the truth, because that's the root of all good action, the thoughts. As change takes time and is often resisted, So it's not easy spreading the truth, as it were. You have to be patient, otherwise you get upset and give up. So that's kind of a commentary on that. And then my commentary on the commentary, I suppose, or a comment on that is possibly the biggest problem people have is the idea that if they buy just one more thing, they will be happy. That is making people spend all their time doing jobs they hate, to spend on things they don't need, to impress people they don't like. Bad ideas lead to bad things. Truths lead to happiness. Spreading the truth is the ultimate something. Good deed, probably. All right. So, what do you think, Salim?
So it's talking about hope, and people should have hope. They shouldn't never despair in the mercy of the Creator who created you, whether you believe it or not, whether you communicate with Him or not. He created you to know you, to love you, to check how you get on, to test you. And so He would never let you. It's like you really love a baby or your child or your lover, and you really care for them deeply. So you don't want to see them mess up or fall into error or suffer. And same with God. So you should never despair in the mercy of Allah Ta'ala, of God, no matter how many naughty things you get up to. I speak from experience. So don't. I think it's saying don't ever lose hope. It's giving cheer. Um, that's what I think it's saying.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk about. I'm going to grab something I find interesting. The top bit there. You will be lost. So this verse of the Holy Quran, and I reference it later on or something, called Al Asr, which means the time. It talks about a time when generally people are lost. Um, and it says except if you do certain things. And so I like this definition. I call it another way of describing being depressed, because we often say depressed is this, feeling depressed is this chemical problem in our head. No, it's not a chemical problem. There's a good reason why you're unhappy, like you're not talking to people and you're confused about your life. That's lost. So being lost is a major factor of being depressed. So that's why I put brackets depressed there. um, and if you got like a direction, and not just random direction, but like positive things that work and make your life better, then you probably will not be so depressed. Any thoughts?
Yeah. So like if you don't want to be miserable by the time you get to my age, then you should have lived a life of integrity. You should have had some modicum of self-control and not gone down those dark routes. Try to I mean, it's difficult, but try and have pure thoughts. Try and live a pure life. Try and be helpful to others. Be cheerful. Be kind. I see these posters, and they're not religious posters. It says, "Be kind. Be cheerful." You know, try different things. In a nutshell, they're right. But when you're on your last legs, you want to look back and have lived a life of worth having lived, and also, as best as you can, a life with some sense of integrity. So you could be a role model for others, you know, and all that sense of integrity means that you won't be miserable, you won't be suffering mentally, uh, and you'll have positive experience, you'll have positively impacted others, uh, and so you know the future is bright. I mean, like I'm
Mm,
talking about the next life.
yeah. You're not doing an orange advert. It's one of those
Well,
old
I
adverts.
was actually,
You
yeah.
were a little bit, yeah. I kind of nick things like that as well. But we're old enough to know Orange. I think Orange has been out for a long time, isn't it? Anyway, so I think what you were saying, basically you're pointing out some truths, right? But those truths are not obvious to lots of people. That's why so many people are miserable. So the truth is, for example, if you want to be happy, you got to be generous, which is the exact opposite of what TV adverts tell you. TV adverts tell you you just need that product. Again, another one, you know. And so if you knew truths, you'll be happier. And have you ever heard the phrase hurt people hurt people? Ever heard that one? Sounds really weird. Like if you're miserable, you negatively impact other people. Like you just take it out on everybody else. Hurt people hurt people. Anyway, the point is, if you had positive truth in your life, then it would stop all sorts of conflicts and it bubbles up to better societies and then less leaders who want to start World War III and stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that, right? Helps the environment because you don't want to keep buying stuff you don't need. I don't know. Yeah.
Why are on the bestseller lists in the States and in Britain, there's always a self-help book, and there's life coaches. There's so many. Some are high profile more than others, but essentially they're all saying, here's a framework within which to live. Here's a value set and trademarked, and this is how to live a positive. This is how you feel better about yourself. So basically, the book the scriptures, they're the ultimate self-help book.
That's it. So truth can change the world, change your life, and make a better world for other people as well.
Yeah, I mean, the modern generation of kids now, they all know about, smoking is bad for you. We need to save the planet. We're going to spend our lives serving others. Whereas not, and as they become the leaders of the next generation, obviously they'll enact policies that will, step by step make the world a better place. And yeah.
Cool. Okay, why did God create the universe, including us? We're part of the universe.
Why did God create the universe? So that we may recognize him and know him and feel him. Feel me?
Okay.
Yeah, that's why he did. To worship him, to ways to worship, to know, to remember, to reflect on his attributes, and make those attributes within us. Be kind and generous and that kind of thing. Why do you think he made the universe?
All right, I've got a script for you if you want. Here we go. All right, click on there. So anyway, here we go. There's a verse of the Holy Quran. When God said to the angels, I'm about to place. So the angels asked the same question before, let's say these, you don't have to believe in them, but like it's in the Quran, it's the same sort of question was asked, right? When God said to the angels, I'm about to place a representative of mine on earth, they said, will you put on earth something that will cause trouble? It was a bit, and bloodshed and stuff like that. This is a short version. Okay. And then they said, you're the greatest and the most perfect, right? The idea is like, we don't know what we're talking about, but we're a bit confused, and we know you know what you're talking about, God. So can you help us out? And then God answered, I know what you know not. And there's more to the conversation, but that's all I've put there for now, right? And but I know what you know not. It's not like just be quiet, because otherwise the conversation wouldn't even started, right? There's a bit more to that. It's kind of that actually has a meaning, which is there's potential in human beings that we can't even imagine. So when we ask why bother making the universe and human beings, it's kind of like, oh, we're not that special, are we? Right? But little commentary, we are the closest thing to God, which is no small thing. What makes us special is what we can choose, that we can choose between right and wrong. So that's the thing that makes us special. We are the seed of something that will grow into something only God can understand. So I know what you know not. It's like, oh. That is not Barcelona, is it? No, no, no. Sorry, it is. No, it's not. It's It's wait a second. Dale, of course it's Dale, right? What? Okay, forget it. I'm not guessing anymore.
But
Bastard, I was right the first time. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So the point is that we are beyond what we can imagine. So that's the first thing. Like, why did God create us? Because we're something really special, and it's really hard to understand maybe at first thought. Like, doing good and bad. Who cares about that? What's so special about that? Like, you know. But let me quickly read this thing. God loves creating art. His greatest work in the universe is you, based on this idea that we have free will, and we can try to talk about why that's so important. This universe is a palace made for you to be able to live in and wonder about the power of God. So yeah, it's a living place. So that's why the universe was made, but it was really made for us, and is it's a massive, not infinite, but massive place where massive playground, let's say, where we can live in the not too limited sense, but also wonder about the power of God through the universe. And that's actually referring to another verse of the Holy Quran, which describes the universe as a palace. Um, anyway, what do you think to begin with?
so like the stars. So the stars, there's there's more stars than there are grains of sand, right? We know that. So at the galactic level, number of stars, number of planets, space. I mean, it's so massive, it's almost unfathomable. Unless you've done some quality stargazing, it's going to be difficult to reflect on that. But then at the other end of the spectrum, at the atomic level, there's a lot of order. You know, it's very organized. But if God is saying that humans are the most beautiful thing that He's created, we're carbon-based life forms. The software is the DNA, and the hardware is the carbon-based life form, which is us. And within us, obviously, we've got some pretty complex stuff going on. But the most complex thing is the brain, and inside the brain, you've got the dendrites and the neurons, and they're only just nobody knows how a thought. AI is trying to mimic that, but we're nowhere near. Um, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Cool. I felt like you were kind of going off on a tangent, but it was good. I think you were like wondering about the amazingness of the universe and that we should reflect on that. And I thought that bit was
Why did he
interesting,
make
right?
us? Yeah, why did he make us?
But I don't think what our
To test us.
complexity is what makes us special, and that's not what this verse of the Holy Quran is saying. It's like God has
Okay.
made infinitely complicated things. We're just one of the many infinitely complicated things, right? Um, but what makes us special is this idea, and I'm going to try to get it across, that doing a good deed when you can choose to do a bad deed, that's just infinitely special for God, right? And why would that be? Let's think of an example. Like, let's just think of an extreme example. It's like, I'll take a bullet for you. Maybe. Imagine I don't have children or something, and I go, this bloke, he's got kids. His kids will be sad if he died. I'm going to take a bullet for you, right? So that's sacrificing your needs for something else, for somebody else, to going through struggle and pain to make other people's lives better. And that's what all religions teach. If you look at Jesus Christ, for example, trying to help you guys out, he's saying to all these kind of Jewish people, be nice to people, and I'll put you on a cross now. Stop doing that. Kind of like Prophet Muhammad, same thing, be nice to people. I'm gonna throw stones at all sorts of people just throwing stones at him for telling people to be nice to them. So all these people, these different prophets or different truly religious people, truly spiritual people, all they were doing is like they're not doing anything for themselves. They're like, I'm gonna give up my life for you, all of humanity. And God thinks that's special. and I think it is special, and we feel it. And God has made us in His image, in the sense that we can kind of get a feel. We can feel what's really good, and there's something deep down. You go, yeah, that is special.
Yeah, feelings. That's a tricky one because can you measure how much love you have for your child? It's not quantifiable, is it?
Hmm.
Uh, and why did God create us? To see if we would, to see how we live our lives, to recognize Him, to know
But
Him.
see, I'm gonna go overboard a little bit in terms of time, but we have to be careful in like not making God look stupid. So like God doesn't need us worshipping or to recognize Him. I think do you know what I mean? Like why
No, you
God doesn't
sure? I
need
don't know. I
anything
don't
from
know.
us.
I disagree. Don't you think it'd be lonely if we didn't recognize Him?
Oh, possibly. That's an interesting one. But
In
then that
a way,
becomes a weak God that and the God that I understand, as soon as you
no.
imply some sort of weakness, then all sorts of terrible things can happen. Like I'm feeling lonely, I'm just going to create. So we can for now, we can only say what God says about Himself, which is I don't create things in vain, like just random for sport. Something. So at least from this description that I gave, it's really meaningful, something beautiful, not in a aesthetic sense only, but like something that's actually meaningful, not just how it looks, but what it does, the will to give up its own happiness, as it were, for others or something.
So you're saying that He doesn't need to be recognized?
No, I don't think so. There'll be a point when, well, God said, promises that there'll be a point when there's none of us here, and then there'll be nobody to recognize Him. So maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, but
Maybe
the
you got a
soul
good
is
point.
eternal, right? If the soul is eternal,
Yeah. But at some point, because we don't know the full mechanics of the soul, right? So apparently, at one point, there'll be nothing, and then it'll be brought back somehow, which I don't really understand the mechanics of, because I don't. There's a lot of things I don't know. But yeah, yeah. Let's just move on to the last one. Maybe we can pick up that topic again. It's an interesting topic, right? Is getting married worth the stress? Look at your kids and say that.
it's
Look at Basil and
getting
say that. It's not worth it.
um,
Basil's laughing, right? I can hear him. Okay.
is getting with the stress. Tricky one, tricky. Now, if any ladies are listening, then tricky one.
I'm glad I
But
asked a
I think
tricky question.
it works for them as well, right? Same for them.
That them as
Uh,
in all the ladies, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
same for everyone. Uh, is getting married worth the stress? Oh gosh, you know what? I'm
He's
finding
doing
that
this
a
by
tricky one
purpose.
to answer.
He's just he's trying to do the
What do you think? I'm gonna palm it
Well, I
off
got
to
a
you.
script. I got a script.
Oh, you got a script to read. Is buried getting married worth it? Well, obviously, in the eyes of God, you want to be legit and not live in sin for
Yeah.
as much as you can. Uh, and it's good for the kids to have that, family unit. So there's loads of theoretical reasons why it should be worth it. And you're not lonely. You got
But you're not
someone warm.
convinced.
You got someone warm to cuddle. I mean, there's a good things, but there's some tough things as well. It really it teaches you patience. But hold on, we're going off on a whole different.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go off on that tangent. That's
no, read the
exactly the
script.
right tangent. Yeah, I'll read the script and
My
then
my, my
I'm gonna
future wife might be listening, and she'll be like, "Oh, this guy's a weirdo. I'm not going to marry him, even if I thought I might." So I'll just zip it.
All right, then I'll continue. I don't want to. I don't want you to.
Ruin my future prospects.
Exactly. That's what those words. I was going to use those
Get
words
married.
anyway. Yeah. So Basil's reminding you that you're married. Yeah. Okay. So whoever Allah provides. There we go. Where's that script there? There we go. Whoever Allah provides with a righteous wife has Allah has assisted them in half of his religion. Let him fear Allah regarding the second half. Commentary: marriage takes half of what it takes to be a good human being: listening, working with others, sticking to your commitments, kindness, and many more subtle ones. Things, good things. So, marriages are failing more often as few people have principles anymore. Principles are rules we stick by no matter what. Nietzsche, if I say Nietzsche, whatever his name is, yeah, whatever. Okay. Said, so he's a psychologist, famous psychologist, said, he who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow, meaning you need principles or a why to do great things. Principles are the reasons why married men are more successful. So I'm going to quickly continue your tangent about it's all the difficult things, right? It's the difficult things that make you a good human being. So they're difficult, but they're nice things. They're not just random difficult things like being kind. When you're not that kind of thing, you will find that you're not really a grown up. Marriage makes you grown up. It's like if you're just taking care of number one, you'll find that you're really self-absorbed and you don't develop into what I would describe as a grown-up. And that's actually a common fact. You'll see that people don't develop when they don't have to make sacrifices for a good cause. Be principled, which is usually a set of rules. Principles are not just random words, they're a set of rules that you are committed to, and they make you grow and become a better or more capable human being. Like I think you were saying earlier on, it's like if you want to be happy with your life, you're not going to just do random crazy things. You're going to control yourself enough to go in a certain direction. It's like I'm not going to just party every single day aimlessly, because then I don't actually achieve anything I would value when I look back at my life. And that's all to do with having principles and a direction. And to wrap up, half of the cool things you need to be an awesome human being are tied up in being married, and it shows like in more successful people. The most successful people are married men, generally speaking. So, and that's a statistic. Yes, Salim.
So my grandfather used to say, "No life without wife." And certainly when I got married, I became much more responsible, and you have a sense of maturity that comes upon you. You have to provide, which gives you a sense, which is positive actually. Um,
That's it. Cool.
yeah, that's it. And but I know we're running out of time, are we not?
Yeah.
So I just want to say that thanks for having me on,
Yeah.
and what you're doing, stick with it. The happiness course, I want everybody to subscribe and listen to the whole course. There's lots and lots of nuggets of information in all those, not podcasts. What do you kids call this? YouTubers,
Live
YouTube,
stream. Yeah.
live streams. Yeah,
Oh, just videos.
channels,
Yeah.
videos. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, just watch more of it. Thanks for having me on. Peace be
No,
upon you.
thank you. You can't leave. You have to wait 51 seconds.
I thought you might want to wrap up.
Oh yeah, I'll wrap up. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So we're at the end of this 33 episode course. Really appreciate Salim, for joining in. I think it's been a lot of fun because all these different people have all their different characters, and the point of having different people is to hopefully sort of represent different viewers, because I mean, the funny people, and then there's kind of, I don't know, the other people who are more careful or something, then represent them. And I try to, yeah, you're not careful, are you, Salim? And so, Salim, he's a farmer now, and then he was, I don't know, programmer before that, and just tries random things. So anyway, really appreciate everybody's been listening in, and I really do think this stuff is useful. Exactly. Bit of that back to you. All right, so let's wrap up. Thank you. Join me next week where we begin right in the beginning of the course again, because this course I intend to do forever. These 33 episodes, starting from the basics of what we need personally to be happy into the relationships, existential questions like, does God exist? What's our purpose? These without which we don't know them, we can't be happy. I've seen it I talk to people all the time in real life outside YouTube, and I keep being proved right that these basic things are what we need to be happy. And join me next week. Please do, like Salim says, like, subscribe, share. That's what YouTube is supposed to say. But I'm not saying it for myself. I do think that this is of real value. And if you can send it to other people, if you can't do the show yourself, share it with other people and maybe they can benefit. Thank you very much. And of course, comment and stuff like that. Peace be upon you. Until next week. Yeah, just